The Moto G30 is a weird phone, and that's the truth. Well, it's natural to expect a Moto G9 to be succeeded by a Moto G10. That is not what's happening here. The G10 is a kinda downgrade or at best a side grade to the G9. The G30 though, now this, you can think of it as a kinda Moto G9 Plus. Stupid idiot! You know there's a Moto G9 Plus already, right? Okay, fair enough. Think of it more of a kinda sorta G9 Advance, if I might say. What I mean is it's a slightly better Moto G9. So what makes it better? Hey guys, Ash here from C4E Tech and welcome to a full review of the Lenovo Moto G30. If you do end up finding this video useful, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Let's start with something super unique about this phone, the display. Just like with the Moto G9, it's still 6.5 inches. It's still only HD+. The same aspect ratio, the same technology, IPS LCD, there's still no mention of what they've used for display protection. So what's the upgrade? What's so unique? The refresh rate. Now this is probably the first and only 720p 90Hz panel that I've seen, and I can live with that as an upgrade. It makes moving around the interface smooth, but the rest of the front, it's pretty ordinary. The bezels remain thick by 2021 standards, so the G30, at least its front, does not make much of an impression. That's it for an entry-level phone, 90Hz. Me likey. Flip the phone around and we have this plastic back. It's better than you'd expect it to be. Moto's managed to get some sort of gradient going on. We can see different hues of green and red. It's pretty eye-catchy, or at least as eye-catchy as a plastic back can be. It's also utilitarian in that the matte finish here means the back is pretty resistant to fingerprints and smudges. And talking about resistant, Moto's trademark water-resistant nano coating returns, so taking this one out in the rain should not be an issue. Again, do not go dunking it in water, as with every Moto phone. Now to the top of this back, we have a quad camera array. This is one of the major improvements since the G9. Well, the G9 had a triple camera setup with macro and depth options as secondary, meaning they were just making up numbers and it was effectively a single camera setup. Here we get the same macro and depth options again, yes, but there's also a pretty handy 8 megapixel ultra wide. It's got a 118-degree field of view. As you can see, the actual sensor itself, it's nothing to write home about, but at least it is not as useless as the other two sensors. The primary though, that's where we get our main upgrade from the Moto G9. This is a 64 megapixel sensor. What?
Which sensor?
I have no clue. Your guess is as good as mine. But it is paired with a f1.7 lens. So under good lighting conditions, the images turned out alright. In fact, I like the level of detail, the dynamic range. Just look at the blue skies, the colors. They turned out to be punchy, but not punchy enough to be called oversaturated. They were pleasant to look at. Motorola has provided a night mode, but under low light, this camera kind of falls apart. It's very hard to get a decent shot unless the lighting is actually good. And the same holds true for videos too. The resolution maxes out at 1080. The 60 FPS available though. Now, the camera app, this is very Moto. We have fan favorite features like spot color where you just let one color pop and the rest is monochromed out. That returns. Then there's cutout where you get to, well, cut out your subject and add any background you want. There's also a dedicated pro mode, full-fledged pro mode. We get cinematograph and even spot color for video, which was spotty at best. Now, unlike the camera software, the rest of the software experience, it's largely stock. This is Android 11, bare bones, no bloat whatsoever, no ads whatsoever either. Moto offers one of the cleanest Android experience outside of the Pixel lineup, and that is what we get here on the G30 as well. Of course, there is the regular Moto app which adds some non-stock functionality. Like for example, you can change fonts, colors, icon shapes. Peak display lets you check out notifications even with the screen off, so you don't have to bother unlocking the phone. It's quite handy, especially when you combine it with Raise to Wake. And by the way, you can also add face unlock here. That is again a non-stock feature. And while talking about biometrics, below the camera is a physical fingerprint scanner. This is an active scanner, so you can just tap it and the phone unlocks. It's right under the Moto logo. It's pretty responsive and fast. Coming back to gestures, twist to turn the camera on and off, chop for flashlight, 3-finger screenshot, these all return. One of the newer ones that Moto's added is wipe to split. This quick back and forth gesture splits the screen, pushes your current app to the top, and lets you pick another for the bottom half. There is a dedicated Google Assistant key too. Now, I would have loved to see this be a remappable key, but that's not the case here. At least it is far out of reach, so it doesn't get triggered accidentally. Now, talking about the placements, there's a headphone jack, and the output's pretty much what you'd get from a budget phone. Meaning it's nothing special, but at the same time, it's nothing bad either. The single speaker is pretty silent, and that was a bit of a letdown. There's a hybrid tray, so memory expansion is a possibility, but it comes at the cost of a second SIM. And the Type-C port, it supports 20-watt fast charge via the included turbocharger. Given there's a 5000 mAh battery inside, I'm happy that Moto didn't leave us hanging with a 10-watt charger. Now, in case you're wondering why is he talking about 10 watts here, the Moto G9 had 20 watts, so how would this have anything lesser? The Moto G10 actually ships with a 10-watt charger, so they kind of went backwards there. Anyway, the 5000 mAh battery here meant the battery life was excellent even with heavy use. I don't see this battery running out before the end of the day. It never did for us. The same size display, the same capacity battery. This also means that the G30 looks identical to the G9. It has the same width, same height, same everything. There is no upgrade per se for the build. And with the innards, it's more of the same. It's the same old Snapdragon 662. Now guys, here's the deal. I hate it. I absolutely hate it when brands don't have a generational upgrade. If you're adding a number to your phone, then you need to add something new. From the 662 on the Moto G9, Moto's actually gone ass backwards with 460 on the G10. So that basically means the G10 is not the G9's successor. Instead, we have this phone, the G30. On paper, it's supposed to match the G9's performance because, hey, it's got the same Snapdragon 662 chip, right? But it is pushing 50% more frames. It's got a 90 Hz panel instead of 60. So despite the stock Android experience here, overall, when you use this phone, it doesn't feel smooth all the time. For just basic use, it's fine. But once you start pushing it, even just a little with like multiple Chrome tabs, for example, you can feel the G30 struggle. That said, gaming turned out better than we expected. The 662 was even able to take advantage of higher refresh rates on some titles. And now with all that said and done, is this a phone you should buy? What do I think? First, I'm not impressed with Moto constantly downgrading the G line. I've talked about this multiple times in the past and it is what it is. From being one of the best phones for its segment under Google, the G lineup is now more of an afterthought. Anyway, the G30 brings two important upgrades over the G9. Cameras and a 90 Hz refresh. The Moto G9 launched for 11,500 in India, and given this is pretty much all Motorola's added to the G30, I'd say 13,000 rupees is the max you should be paying for it. At this price, it's still a bad upgrade from the last gen G9, but it's a decent enough standalone phone by itself, especially if you want stock Android. And as long as Asus refuses to launch the Zenfone Max, what is happening with that lineup? Anyway, if Motorola decides to price the G10, the downgraded phone at the same price as the G9, and decides to price the G30 higher, I'd rate it and avoid at all costs. Do not buy. So summing it up, build, average, design, sad, display, average, battery life, excellent, a solid charger in the box, cameras, reasonably good. So under 12K, this is a good deal. 12 to 13K, it's okay, so-so. Above 13K, stay the away. So that's my take on the Moto G30. I didn't want to do just another stupid unboxing, so I decided to actually get you guys the full review. So now it's your turn to give me something. Do let me know what you think about this phone. The official pricing would have been announced by the time this video goes live. I will have it pinned in a comment below, just like I always do. So check it out. Let me know what you think about this phone. Like it, hate it, leave a comment down below. And with that, we get to the end of this review. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.